You're listening to the Mark Bradford Alchemy for Life podcast.
The bottom line is you're not alone. Well, hey there. Welcome back and Happy New Year. I'm sure you're being absolutely bombarded by media and stuff you read and social media, and even your brain saying, oh, now's the time, it's the first day of the year, and all that cliche stuff, right? I have some really good news for you. Really, really good news. I had a 20-minute recording all set up for you right now to listen to. It was pretty thorough and talked about a year in review, my year in review, your year in review, and all that stuff. But you know what? We don't need to hear that, right? So let's do something easier. Let's do something that no one else is doing. Let's be quick and efficient about this. So you can listen to this and maybe you're hungover, maybe you're not, who knows. But here's something that will help you moving forward in 2022. So let's just do a success in 2022 do's and don'ts. How's that sound? And before I do that, I want to say thank you. If this is the first episode you've ever heard, thank you. Thank you for trying this. If this is one of many, many episodes, thank you for being an audience member, a fan, whatever you want to call yourself, or somebody who keeps making the same mistake of listening. No, but thank you. Thank you for doing this. You are the person I do this for. You're the reason I keep doing this. I mean, as lovely as my voice is, hi there, I'm Mark Bradford. I still don't want to hear it if no one else does, right? So thank you. Thank you for listening now. Thank you for listening in 2021. Thank you for listening in 2022. So here we go, do's and don'ts. You've heard me say this before, but don't make resolutions. Don't make resolutions. And as I've said before, resolutions are made by people who are drinking, who want to feel better about themselves. It's just basically a promise you know you're not going to keep, so everyone leaves you alone, right? Or even your brain leaves you alone. You say, oh, fine, I resolve to da-da-da-da-da. Because why? Because it causes me pain. Because I don't want it to cause pain, right? Well, Mark, how do I change? That's kind of dumb. Don't make resolutions. Oh, okay. I say that because of all the emotional baggage and failure that's connected to making resolutions. So instead, do make a goal with a system behind it. Well, a resolution is a goal, right? Well, yeah, it is. Make a goal with a system behind it. And I have a number of podcasts that talk about a goal and steering from afar and all that stuff. So do that. Have a system behind it and it'll get done. Don't just get annoyed by things happening around you, but do become aware of them. And there are a lot of things you can become aware of, right? And if you've listened to this and this isn't your first rodeo with me, you've heard a lot of kind of crazy stuff that turns out to be true, right? The act of awareness is really the whole premise of this podcast. And once you have the awareness, you can act on it. I mean, that's big, right? You can't make any choices. You can't do stuff if you don't even know a thing is happening. Don't be afraid to learn. To me, that sounds so silly. Like if somebody said that to me, I'd be like, wow, you have no idea who I am. You have no idea what my day is like, right? But I forget that people aren't like that. You get caught in your rut and so forth. Or you say, well, learning means going to college. Learning means being in third grade. No, learning is just acquiring knowledge and more importantly, using it, right? Don't be afraid to learn. Don't be afraid to learn something that your friends would make fun of you for. In fact, I encourage you to do something and learn something deeply and interestingly and usefully that your friends will be like, really? Because I'll guarantee you that if they're actually your friends, they'll just look at you like, what? And then they'll have a newfound appreciation for you. They will. So do it for them if you're not going to do it for you. But don't be afraid of learning because it's just such an interesting thing. There's an, for all intents and purposes, there's an infinite amount to learn out there because we're never going to learn all there is out there. Even in our lifespan, we're not going to learn everything there is to learn, nor should we, nor do we need to, but it's kind of fun to not just keep scratching the surface. There are a lot of problems that we have in society because people scratch the surface and go, that's enough, I get it. No, you don't. So please, I'm a great example of all the crazy stuff that I've learned that do not seem to be connected at all, but they are. That's really fun. Please. Don't be afraid to be wrong. I mean, this is kind of related to learning, right? Don't be afraid to be wrong, or at least have your understanding deepened on something, getting back to scratching the surface, right? Don't be afraid of it to be, adjusted, whether it's 90 degrees or 180 degrees. Maybe you're wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't mind that. I like that. I actually like being wrong because it's a chance to really learn something that I wasn't going to learn. It's something that I was apparently completely ignoring, or it was invisible to me. I mean, it doesn't really happen that much, especially with my crazy attitude about learning. But if you're someone who has been stuck in a rut, or you sort of have tunnel vision in life, you will definitely appreciate being wrong about stuff. And wrong doesn't mean you're humiliated. At least it shouldn't be. I mean, if you're kind of a dork about your point and then you find out you're wrong, yeah, people may try to humiliate you. But if you have some humility, when you learn something, you learn it. Especially if you learn it on your own, you may find out you're silently wrong. It's a good thing. Another big one is consider how much time, energy, and resources you're spending on everything in your life. And then compare that to the time, energy, and resources you're spending on you. I can already hear the shields going up. I can already hear the defenses going, dude, I got to feed my kids. I got to take care of my wife. I have to do this. I have to do that at work, blah, 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 blah. That's great. Yeah, you still can do that. But you have to take care of you. And that's where all this nauseating self-love and self-care comes through, right? If you're like me and you're, strong alpha E male, when people talk about self-love and self-care, you're like, yeah, okay, I'm not sitting in a tub with rose petals in it. Leave me alone. But that's not what that means. And you need to take care of yourself. And the better way of saying self-love and self-care is spend some time, energy, and resources on yourself. In fact, take a look at that, okay? Remember that you're human. Remember that whatever it is that you're shoving yourself into doing, whatever it is you're accomplishing, whether it's a PhD, a degree, just holding down a decent job, taking care of your kids, juggling finances, you're human. You're allowed to make mistakes. I'm telling you that. You're human and you're allowed to do that. And you need to take time to regenerate. If you don't take time to regenerate, it's going to overcome you. It's the people who have all these health problems because they keep pushing themselves. Okay? I'm in a position where I have a lot more to do than to relax about. And I'm sort of getting to the point where I really need to get away. And I'm aware of that. And balance is everything. And again, when I first started the whole concept of balance coaching and, alchemy for life and having a balance, this, that, and the other thing, and the 5 facets of life, right? I knew that balance wasn't a sexy thing. It wasn't exciting. Ooh, balance. Let's hear about that. It just sounds boring, right? Because by its nature, it sort of is. Because it's just balanced. It's not too exciting. There's not friction going in one direction or another. Like, oh, I'm going to watch a balanced movie. Oh, okay. But it is everything. And that's it. That's it, right? We're 8 minutes in and that's it. So let me go back and tell you how to do all of these things. So when we talk about don't make resolutions, make a goal with a system behind it, that's what Alchemy for Life is about. Go listen to my podcast. Scroll through the podcast and see if there are some episode titles that seem to answer the question that's on your mind. I'll bet there's like 2 or 3. I'll bet just from this podcast alone, you're going to find 5. Do that. And if that's not enough, then go and get the Alchemy for Life Formulas for Success book. It's actually a workbook. You can go in there and you can say, well, I want to do this goal. Okay, well, here's a way to do that. I mean, it has some crazy things from counting all of your failures, because your failures show you what direction you've been trying to go in. And you may have 6 failures and then 1 success based from all those failures, but you forget the failures. You forget all the hard work you put into failing. Like, well, I never could do that. Really? Why did you keep trying on that? Just do that on this one. And then if that's not enough, you can then experience some kind of coaching with me, right? We can do one-on-one coaching. You can fill out the balance sheet and go from there. You can even fill out the balance sheet and not coach with me. You can just go on the website and get the balance sheet and just try it. If that's not enough, you can go on the new Alchemy for Me online school. And if you go on there, there's a number of classes you can take. Not only is there, as of this recording, I think 4 classes, at least one of them is free, but I have, even before 2022, right now, I have 2 guest teachers lined up. They're all set to provide at least 1 class each on something that I normally wouldn't provide, to give you even more variety and sampling. So my little school is now going to have 3 teachers. Right now, the classes that I have available range from time management to dating to health, right? And they're going to improve on the health aspect and other aspects of it. So moving forward in 2022, you're not alone. I'm here, okay? If you're trying to get something done, if you're trying to understand life, if you're trying to juggle something, if you don't even know why you're stressed, I'm here. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do. That's why I do this every week. I'm trying to make sure that I am here for you, so that even if all you do is silently turn your silent frustration and suffering into silent joy, and I never ever find out about it, and that would be sad, but that's fine. Then I've accomplished something, right? Even if one person is out here and you're that person because you're listening to this podcast and you're like, oh, I guess I never really considered the balance thing. I guess I never really considered spending time, energy, and resources on myself, right? I mean, I have a podcast in which you treat yourself like an honored guest in your home. Think about how crazy that is, right? And yet, just think about how good you feel about yourself if you did that for just one day. Just one day you treated yourself that. One day out of the tens of thousands of days that make up your lifetime, right? I mean, there's little things like that. So if I can help you, whether it's just through you throwing on the headphones or you're driving to work in the car and in the job that you don't like, and you listen to this for 10-ish minutes, and one day the light bulb goes on, that's okay. You're not alone. I'm here. Hi. I like that you talk back to me. I think that's important. Having the coaching and being able to work one-on-one. As of this recording right now, I'm actually working with a couple people on writing a book. I'm helping them to actually write a book. I'm not helping them to create the greatest American novel ever, and maybe it will be, but I'm just helping them to do that so they're not alone, so they don't have the pitfalls, so they understand fiction versus non-fiction, all that other stuff. I'm cutting myself off here, but I'm just trying to tell you that I'm providing as many resources as I possibly can for you and people to not be alone. Okay? And if you heard the other podcast I'd recorded, you'd probably really, really thank me, because this one is much more to the point. I like the bullet list. I like the do's and don'ts. And even the article that goes along with this is just going to be bullets, because you don't need to read all that nonsense. Okay? So, Happy New Year's to you. Happy 2022 to you. That's such a nice roundish kind of number, right? There's all this, alliteration in there, all these multiple numbers, all that cool stuff, right? I'm not going to be a cheerleader, but I'm going to be here for you, and I'm going to try to provide some information. So, Happy New Year's. Happy 2022. I know that you're going to do good stuff, and you're not going to be alone doing it. You can reach out to whatever level you need me on. If it's just this, that's fine. If it's all the way to one-on-one, that's cool. If not, whatever. I'm still going to be here. I'm still going to try to be entertaining. And I'm going to write a book or two in the meantime that maybe you can read. Okay? So you take care of yourself. And again, as I always say, please, if you have any feedback, if I did make a difference, if you learned something, if you thought something, if you have an idea, please let me know, because I love to hear back. It's mostly a vacuum-y thing, because a lot of the services I use to report things don't report a lot of stuff. So there's a lot of invisible people out there that I know are listening. So, and you might be one of them. But thank you again, and take care. Hey there, thanks for listening. I always enjoy your feedback. The prequel to The Sword and the Sunflower duet, called Upside Down, is now available. The Sword and the Sunflower is available as Kindle, paperback, and audiobook, with the other two, Amira and Upside Down, being available as Kindle and paperback. Well, actually, all 3 books are now available in hardcover.